In terms of my career, frankly, some of my successes are tied 1, 2, and 3. But frankly, even becoming a spokesperson for Comcast as a Puerto Rican girl from the projects, and as the first college graduate in my family, frankly, I was fumbling around a lot. And how I figured out to harness all of that wild kinetic energy into a formulated professional spokesperson had a lot to do with my Emerson background, frankly, and my resilience. Something I was really surprised by is when I realized, frankly, that I wanted to be a journalist because I had been a spokesperson for a corporation, and that even though I took a winding path to become a journalist, some of the awards I've won for my work are by far the furthest I've pushed myself, and I'm really proud of my work. One of the things I continue to struggle with, frankly, despite any success I've had, is self-confidence and a belief in my abilities. I always believe I am a fraud. I always think that someone is going to see right through me, to that little girl on the welfare line in 1965 who is unworthy of any success she's had. And it's a conversation I have with myself constantly about how, in fact, I have worked hard, I have studied hard, and that I am qualified to hold the positions that I have had. My career path has been a long and winding road. No linear paths out here, people. You have to be adaptable. You have to be malleable. You have to take in the environment. You have to do your research and figure out, do I fit? How do I fit? If I want to be a renegade, how do I pull that off? And so for me, my career path, I'm turning 62 today, has been a long and winding road. At first, it was about balancing wanting to be a mom once I worked in corporate America and what that balancing act was like. And it was painful, I gotta be honest. My age group, women, made significant demands on the business world, but it was not pretty, and we were very much in the trenches. I wish I could say that we've come further, but we worked hard to get what we have. After that, it's about testing yourself. It's about being comfortable when you're uncomfortable. It's about figuring out, digging deep, finding that confidence when you have challenged yourself to be in the room, so to speak, to be where you have a dream, but you're not quite sure how to get it yet. So you put your toe in and you listen and you take it in and then you absorb it and you come back and you keep doing that until you realize that you are as qualified as everyone else in that room. Self-expression for me has always been with a camera. It has always been to historically document either what I'm accomplishing, what I'm hoping to achieve someday, or frankly, forcing my brain to take a break and be in the moment and taking pictures of flowers just to calm myself down. So it's very important to know what your skill set is. And it could be something that you don't think you'll ever need to use in your job. Maybe you are the best event planner. You know, you were always the 5-year-old kid in your house putting together parties for everybody else. Who knows? Maybe you'll become a public relations person and event planning is going to be part of that. So you'd be surprised, but it's important to look inward and to honestly look even at all the time spent in your youth and about where your strengths are. And then to figure out how to adapt them, how to bring them to the fore here in the present in pursuing whatever your professional dreams are. I am extremely proud to be Hispanic, to be a Latina. Partly because being myself was something that a lot of people didn't want me to claim. When someone's trying to take away your culture is when you realize how much you love it, how much you need it, how much you need to feel authentic in your own skin. To figure out how to keep your authenticity and yet be what other people want you to be is hard, but it's worth it. Because if they're not in line, I don't believe you can optimally accomplish what you want to. You've got to find a way to come to terms with who you are, stay who you are, embrace who you are, and bring it into the common square and figure out how to have the world accept you on those terms. It's a slow process. When I arrived at Emerson, I don't even know if there was another Hispanic kid in 1979. I'm sure there was, even though there was like 1,000 kids back then, and we were still on Beacon Street, you know? So it was lonely. But at the same time, it came at a time when I was trying to be white. So I was passing. Now, today, to see that you guys even have your own group, or that Emerson College is frankly participating in Hispanic Heritage Month and giving us the honor that we deserve as a community, is incredible progress. And I'm so proud and grateful to both Emerson and all y'all, because I know it didn't come easy for us to get to this point where we are recognized for being mi gente. Okay, so here's the thing. My mother wants me to assimilate, be white. Basically, I think so that I don't get hurt, right? As 100% Puerto Rican from the South Bronx, right? Trying to make a name for myself. And so I'm following what mommy says, because, you know, in our community, we got to do what mis padres says. So I attend Emerson, and I go by Julie Hinden, my stepfather's last name. I actually went through a forcible adoption. That's how bad things were in my traumatic past, so to speak. But anyway, long story short, it gets to be 1999, and I'm accepted into a big deal leadership program. And I enter as, Julie, and I come out as Julia Torres Barden. Julia Torres Barden. And the reason I realized in that one-year leadership program that claiming my space and that telling the world, yo soy Latina, why that was important was because nobody else was speaking for us. And that's 1999, so to speak. In a class of about 60 people, senators, governors, serious, power players. Here's this little person, me, Julia Torres de South Bronx, and my parents are from Puerto Rico. Neither one of them even graduated from high school. And I'm thinking, whoa, how do I fit? Ultimately, I realized after watching these clowns, week after week, you guys go to the bathroom like I do. So we're not any different. You've just been given a couple of bumps up that I did not have the luxury of having. And so I'm going to tell the world, yo soy Julia Torres. Julia Torres. And I claimed my name. And I'll tell you what, after I did that, I got promoted to spokesperson at Comcast. I started winning awards in my journalism career. I wrote my memoir that's been well received. And I did a TEDx talk too, which has over 100,000 views. So it was like the universe saying, when you claim yourself, your real true self, the universe says, good for you. Now you can have everything you wanted. True story about my community and being an ally. I didn't get promoted until I went to my top team and said, you don't have a Hispanic in management, so tell me, what exactly can I do to either improve my performance or expand my duties and responsibilities so that maybe I can join you guys? It was an uncomfortable month. My boss tried to put me in my place for a while, But ultimately, I got promoted. It was because I had the courage after a long time to say, yo, there's something missing. How can I help you? I'll give you an example of just yesterday about Hispanic Heritage Month. I walked into a Barnes & Noble and I said to myself, where's their display for Hispanic Heritage Month? You've got another affinity group present right there as I walk in the front door. In the past, I wouldn't have said anything. Yesterday, I asked to speak to the managers. And I said, let me understand why my community's celebration, Hispanic Heritage Month, is not featured in your store. And they were embarrassed and they said they'd fix it. So every single day, I'm out here telling the world, especially about issues related to Puerto Rico. For example, hurricane disasters. Hurricane Maria, Cat 5. I feel very sorry for everyone in Florida, obviously. But where was everybody when Puerto Rico got hit so bad that 3,000 plus people died? So I am in a place of respecting my elders and my ancestors, even if it makes me uncomfortable. My grandparents came here with $43 in 1943 or something on lawn chairs. And if they could do that for me, I can be uncomfortable for them in breaking the glass ceiling wherever possible. In terms of alums or professional industry people to follow, my former cable television industry has done nada. So I can't think of people, frankly, except me. Honestly, I joined the various minority groups and I did all the chess playing, and it was hard. I definitely got into a couple of skirmishes, but it was worth it because, you're not going to break the glass ceiling without maybe getting a little bit bloody. So I did that and I'm here to tell you about it. In terms of the more general industry now, whether it's journalism or whether it's political advocacy, because honestly, that's mostly what I'm doing right now. Mostly in my case for Puerto Rico, for other survivors of severe childhood trauma, and for advocacy for all minorities and the disenfranchised. I really like the work that John Leguizamo does. Ricky Martin had a little personal blip there for a minute, but I appreciate what he's doing. Mark Anthony's organization, Maestro, I only wish that they did more in Puerto Rico, but he's got a Latin American affinity. I guess that's because he wants to sell more records there. I'm not sure. But I make sure that I am listening to people who have a similar background to me, because I believe then that they are the ones I can trust in terms of advice and energy. Journalists I admire. Maria Hinojosa has done really great, first with CNN and now with Futuro Media. I buy every book that a Latina writes. Esmeralda Santiago's work is so important to me. I'm reading The Girls from Queens. I read Why Didn't You Tell Me most recently by Carmen Rita Wang. Olga Dies Dreaming. I'm looking at all the books I have right here in my office. Invest in your own people with your dollars, with your time. Reach out to them. They'll talk to you. Bad Bunny. Oh my God. If he can just make the international community more aware that the power company in Puerto Rico is not doing right by the people there, and he uses his platform for that, God bless. That's what he should be doing, and I really admire that. Residente as well. He also had a very powerful video out last year. So for me, I am looking to mi gente who understands where I came from and what I'm trying to accomplish. Look for them. It's been a long road, I think, for Emerson students, frankly, to find their people on our campus. As I said, I graduated in 1982, and when I got there in 1979, I don't think I knew another Hispanic person. I wasn't looking though, to be honest. And of course, because sometimes we blend, if we're not using our last names or if we're not speaking Spanish, people don't necessarily know que yo soy Latina. So it's about being comfortable with how much you want to share. You don't have to necessarily go all militant, but at the right time, at the right place, tell people your story. Tell people about what your ancestors, what your parents went through to get you where you are today. I know that there are some people on staff there at Emerson that help first gen people. I'm a first gen person. Nobody was helping me. At the bursar's office, whatever they called it back then, and the registrar's office, I to this day don't even know how I made it out. I don't even know how I figured out how to graduate. But thank you, God, I did. My professors were amazing. And Emerson is the right place, I think, for people who come in maybe a little dazed and confused. Because if it's all about communication, then being with those people who are experts in those fields, it's the right place to be. My hopes and dreams for my Latin community with regards to the arts and publishing, book writing, reporting, teaching, is that we are respected to the same degree that other communities are. And when we don't see ourselves in the room, like I've done in corporate America and said, excuse me, there's no Hispanic in management, how can I help you? Or like John Leguizamo tells you, he pays attention to the numbers in Hollywood, to the screenwriters, how many people behind the scenes are of Hispanic descent, or why isn't a Hispanic getting a role if the character especially is Hispanic. All of those things matter. And so it's politely to write your letters, to send an Instagram message, to talk to your administration there at Emerson if you see where there's a gaping hole, a lack of support that needs to be filled. Now, mind you, when you bring these holes up or these lack of services available, somebody might say, well, you do it. So don't be somebody who just complains. You have to be someone willing to also do the work. I can't imagine, though, I've got to tell you, some of my best accomplishments in this world have been to give a Hispanic a scholarship. I've done that probably 4 times, maybe. Greatest moments in my career. To know that I'm helping someone else because someone helped me. You've got to pay it forward. It can't be about you. It's got to be about our bigger community and how we can have more shelf space at Barnes & Noble and how we can have more box office with our people there front and center. That's the goal, because our kids are watching. Our children need to see themselves. And is it Oprah Winfrey? Somebody said, Maya Angelou, if you don't see the book you need, write it. Do the work, and they will come.